There are a couple.
Well, I could probably ask some of the folks, because we all taking leadership seminar right now. Yeah.
Does he know the program?
Yeah.
No, I shall not. No, I shall not. Drives my fiance crazy. He's like, girl, you need to like expand your. No, I don't. I don't need to
like that.
No, absolutely.
Sanford City Commission work session for January 12th, 2026. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
First order of business is William Clark Court.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, on your agenda for formal action today is an item dealing with the William Clark Court, and to provide an update is Assistant City Manager Craig Bradshaw.
Hey, good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners. Happy New Year to you. This is, as the City Manager indicated, this is on your agenda, regular meeting tonight, 9 Alpha, 9A for action. It's an amendment to the contract for purchasing the known as William Clark Court properties from the Sanford Housing Authority. We entered into this agreement in July of 2023. So this fifth amendment is no different from the 4 others we did previously. It's extending the contract for another 6 months. So with that, I'll leave it for any questions. I did reach out to the Sanford Housing Authority last week, and there's been no updates from HUD on this. We're waiting on the disposition guidelines from HUD so we can go to closing. We're hoping we can get this done in 6 months, but I'm not holding my breath. So I got it marked on my calendar for July to extend again if we need to.
I'm sorry, can you repeat when we started this?
July of 2023 is when we signed the contract.
And I'm not good at math, Mayor. How long is that now?
It's only like 2.5 years, right? Yeah. Federal government?
Oh, this is
Yeah.
this
the federal government.
This is going to be the
5 is a charm.
It's not local, it's not us.
The last time we extended this, which would have been what?
6 months ago.
6 months ago.
I asked if we could reach out to our friends at the federal government, our representatives, our lobbyists even, about seeing what can be done about this and what we can shake to get this done. Or if it's never going to get done, just tell us so we can move on.
That's again, you can find out, but that's not on us locally, that's the government.
I didn't say it's on us,
Well,
Kerry.
no,
I'm asking, are we
Pat.
using all channels
I understand,
possible
hold on.
to get this done 2.5
Pat,
years
you ain't gotta do,
later?
hold on, you ain't gotta do all the yelling, calm down. We talking, I'm talking with sociable, you do the same. Now, that's how we gonna do this. Now, again, I heard what you said in a respectable tone. You do the same thing with me. I sure respect y'all gonna do the same for me.
I did.
No, you raised your
until
voice.
You started trying to
No,
bother
you
me.
raised your
The
voice.
question is, have we
We
gotten
keep
with
reaching out to
other-
people. Mr. Lassard may have reached out to Corey Mills before
Okay.
Corey Mills got this foolishness. We've reached out and we keep trying to reach out to people. So if you can get somebody, it's not the lack of staff, nor even myself personally, trying to reach out to find people. Because this needs to be done. But at the end of the day, it's nothing that local has been able to do. So, Mr. Bonaparte, we are not going to put this on you like it's just on you.
I'm
But
not
if we
putting
can
it
get
on-
somebody, we say that. If we can get somebody, then so be it. Let's make sure we can get that done.
One of the challenges also was when the federal government was shut down. That also delayed this.
Okay.
So my read of it is all of the documentation they have requested has been now done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It was not previously?
They kept asking for,
Yeah, for example, they
funds.
asked for additional letters of support, which we provided timely. We had probably a dozen letters of support for that. There was what's called a FONSI study, which was done, impact done, which is a funding.
Everything's done, you also have to, they have to be current.
So we have to redo them?
I don't think so. I think we're just waiting for HUD disposition is what we're waiting for. There was a 5-year plan that needed to be updated. That was done, and that was on the Sanford Housing Authority. That was done about a year ago. So now we're just waiting for HUD. And I know Mr. Fleming, he wants it to happen too, and he reaches out periodically to HUD to see what the status is, and we talk regularly. We both parties want to get this done. I think it's just a matter of the federal government, HUD, trying to get it disposed of or disposition guidelines. So I think that's where we're
Does
at.
HUD want to get it done? Apparently not.
Yeah, unless there's higher priority items for them. I don't know. I don't contact HUD. Mr. Fleming does that for us, and I don't think he's getting much back from them either. But we have reached out to, as Commissioner Wiggins said, Brady's been helpful in reaching out to some congressmen and representatives and stuff, try to get this expedited, but it hasn't worked thus far. It sits.
All right, my next question is gonna hurt some feelings, but I don't really care anymore. do we even have the funding mechanism for doing anything if we got this? I don't believe we do. Do we have funds set aside for this? For developing this property for our intended purpose?
We do have the funds set aside to purchase, and we are working on the funds to set aside for the development with rec impact fees.
Cool. Very good. All right.
All right,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank y'all.
All right. Next, city manager goals and
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
evaluation.
although that is next on the agenda, I
Oh.
would like to take an opportunity. We do have a new communications intern. I'd like Ms. Lisa Holder to introduce him since he is now joining us.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Attorney. I'd like to introduce Rolando Bailey. He's a paid intern, budgeted for through the City Manager's office, and he is from Embry-Riddle University. It's a college internship program, and I'd like to introduce Rolando Bailey to say a few words. One thing I find amazing is that he lives in DeLand, and he takes the Sunrail to Sanford every day to go to the internship. So go Sunrail. Say a few words.
Hi, my name is Ronaldo Bailey. I go to Embry-Riddle University. I am a senior. I graduate in the fall of 2026. I met Mr. Nico in September or October for this internship. I applied here because I found it was a great cause to help the people of Sanford and learn more about City Hall. My major is communication. My goal is to be a sports broadcaster. But I do take the Sunrail here, but most importantly, my goal is to help my parents retire for all the hard work they did. So I'm just here taking it one day at a time. I'm also the president of my club at school. I'm a student ambassador for the College of Business at Embry-Riddle University. And yeah, that's it. Just here to learn for everybody and see what it takes to run City Hall and see what it's like to work in the government. So.
And he brings a certain youth perspective.
Yes, he does.
Welcome, young man.
We need more of that.
Welcome, young man.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Since my nephew graduated from Embry-Riddle, you get bonus points for that.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
He will be here through the semester, and we'll reinstitute that every semester until it's not in the budget anymore.
Is he one of Tallahassee with us?
No,
Okay.
I mentioned,
Okay.
yes.
Process first.
All right.
All right, Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is to say about the 2026 goals and evaluation for the city manager. At the last meeting, the commission did the evaluation, and there was comments about maybe looking at revising the form. So this was just an opportunity for the commission to discuss if they'd like to revise the form, as well as to look at establishing the goals for the city manager that the city commission has for 2026.
Okay, let's talk about the evaluation process first, and then I have not too confusing handout to start the conversation on goals. So, any comments about the form or about the process? I know Commissioner Thomas, you had some ideas. I don't know if you have fleshed those out yet.
The path I started down was to take a slightly different view of the form itself and to simplify it. But I'm leaning now more toward, and this is kind of a big idea, but the more I think about ratings, the more I think numeric ratings just don't do the job, because too many people, not necessarily anybody on this board, but people do take shortcuts when it's just put in some numbers and be done. So it would be maybe extraordinary to think about something else, just having some conversations, putting in your opinions, some well thought out discussions, comments, versus a numeric rating. Yes, it would impact how we determine the amount of the merit increase, but for a board this size, I think it's just not out of the question that we would consider something like that.
Are there examples of that kind of document?
That's not as far as I've gotten.
Okay.
That would take a little more research. Right now, it's just at the, let me pose the idea, and if people throw things at me, we won't talk about it anymore. But if it's not out of the question, then maybe we can do some more research and compare.
I understand your ideology behind it. I'm not sure it's practical as far as the execution of what our duties are, as far as evaluating and scoring.
And implementing it this quickly.
You know, one of the huge problems I have with this city and with all governments is, well, that's just the way we've always done it.
Well, I know.
And so,
Yeah.
I have fought that previous to you, even with this evaluation system for the employees. There was a time when we were told that we had employee evaluations that were a year overdue. But yet we were trying to determine raises these employees were getting. So I've been fighting this system overall. I think what we have to do for the city manager is has to model or be about the same as all the other employees, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying there, but I do think that for the city manager appointed by the board, it can be and maybe should be a little different than the employee evaluations. Because and again, the research that I've done so far says that it should be treated a little, not exactly the same.
Yeah. Well,
but it still has to come down to putting enough structure into it that we do a thorough job with the evaluation.
quite honestly, there's only 3 employees that this board has powers over.
Right.
And so we never evaluate the city attorney. We have given up. Huh?
Why is that?
I don't know. This is part of my discussion. We don't do an evaluation of the city attorney. We turned over the evaluation of the city clerk to the person who works day to day with that person, and we turn that over to the city manager. And then we have the city manager. So we don't treat our 3 employees per se like the rest of the city employees are treated. I don't think that's wrong necessarily, but I'm just putting that out there for the discussion. And that's where we're at. So if you can come up with a discussion evaluation that still has an enumeration on it for scoring purposes, and we got Professor over here.
Yeah, we do have that. We're fortunate enough to have
I think it would
the
need
school
to be
teacher.
some kind of hybrid thing.
Perhaps.
I can't see it being completely
Non-scored.
check the box kind of thing.
No.
And then for written stuff, we need much better prompts.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And quite frankly, we need 5 people up here that are that fulfill their duties and do their jobs as assigned by the citizens for it to be effective. That's another part of it.
Well, perhaps we do something, make a change like that for next year, and that would give us more time to research. And this is not to put it off like we're not going to do it. I mean, I want to make a change here.
Well, that's only for the evaluation process, and we do have time for that. Well, the goals and objectives we need to figure out.
Right.
Right, but the evaluation process, in fairness, if we're changing the evaluation process, we need to make that change early enough in the year.
I don't disagree. We have more time to work on that than we do the goals and objectives.
Right.
I do not want to turn over the goals and objectives
In April?
to any city manager halfway through the year like we did last year. That was completely unfair and put us in a bad position.
If you all would like, I could reach out to some other city clerks and ask for evaluations from some of our local or our
Okay.
district,
Well,
what they look like.
2.5 years ago, whenever it was when we redid this form, we collected them from as many cities as we
We
could.
did, yeah.
And, as I went through them, they all seemed to be derived from the one Mr. Bonaparte sent from the City Managers
Which makes sense.
Association.
Yeah,
I was amazed at how similar so many of them were.
imagine that.
I do think we have too many items.
Yes.
And I
It
think we
gets, it
can
gets
say-
tedious and trying to figure out,
Yeah.
what do you do for different things, so.
What,
But, well, back to what Tracy said, but yes, it would be interesting to see, because I'm not sure we got them from all of the Seminole County cities.
but I only want them from the cities that have a strong city manager government.
Right.
There's no sense in calling Altamont.
Well,
I mean, not Altamont.
and I would be
Apopka.
pleasantly surprised if any of our peers had evaluations that went far beyond or were very different from what the league provided.
I mean, obviously, I think the one we came up with is better than all the other ones, otherwise.
Oh, yeah. It's light years
Let's
ahead of
change it.
everybody.
Okay, so,
But it, as we move along in this process, I'm sorry, I would like to make sure our attorney advises us if we are treading on any kind of dangerous territory as far as his contract
Oh, absolutely.
and what our duties are.
As we start to get examples and we start to, all of you have that discussion as to what your preferences are, I'll give you some legal analysis, especially based upon what you've adopted in your charter
Right.
as to whether it is befitting of what you've already adopted.
anything else?
No, sir.
So Claudia, we're going to sort of delegate you as the investigator.
I will be your research analyst.
Okay. All right, and then
I
to the
think she's
question.
going to ask for an increase in pay.
Then-
No, if you don't know by now I'm not doing this for the money, then you haven't been anywhere.
And then, so to the question of the city attorney evaluation, what does our contract with the city
Does
attorney?
not provide for an evaluation. I can tell you from my research, and I think the 45 years that you had a previous city attorney, you never did an
I
evaluation.
don't remember ever doing an evaluation.
Generally speaking, I don't know of any city that does, because I am, of course, reporting to the board, an employee technically, but not. And so it doesn't provide for one.
Well, I don't want to go too far down this hole, but is our contract with you per se, or is it with your firm?
Both.
Okay. I've always,
So your firm does an evaluation on you?
For 23 years, generally.
Well, just share that with us.
does that stop
And
when
we'll
you're a
check the
named
boxes.
partner?
It gets worse.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So I'm not a contract expert. Some up here are better at it than I am. I would imagine that our contract with the attorney has different language in it than our contract with the city manager as far as evaluation and eliminating, I don't know what you say, eliminating services. I believe the contract language is different for those two.
It is.
And unfortunately, from my experience, from what I've seen from other cities, is it gets to be rather ugly when either of those contracts are questioned or tried to be eliminated.
Yeah.
So a process of evaluating isn't a horrible idea. Perhaps a 6-month or a 1-year conversation with the city attorney with some opinions from staff, and the city manager on where maybe we are struggling or perceived, or maybe where improvements could be made perceived.
And kind of where all evaluations should end up, which is, are we on the same page? Do
Right.
we understand each other? Are our expectations of you fair, or vice versa? Just to make sure that we have the best relationships we
Oh,
can.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, quite frankly, I invite that to be a regular
given.
conversation, that I can schedule meetings with each of you quarterly for you to opine as to where you believe we are, where areas that you believe are stellar, and where areas that we can serve you better.
I like that idea.
And I'll continue, I'll begin scheduling those quarterly conversations.
If I can speak openly about our previous conversations, can I?
I don't know which one they are.
No, attorney-client privilege. You're a client.
I don't think it's anything bad. Just for the record, Attorney Green and I have had previous discussions about where she is in the process of evaluating some of our systems and some of our ways of business, and how she thinks we could do some of these things better. And then we will reach a point where perhaps she brings in other members of her firm to handle some items.
Absolutely.
With her guidance.
Right, that's an accurate conversation. That the first 6 months was really, and probably for another few months, we'll be assessing where you are as an entity, where improvements need to be made with regard to procedures, training, things of that nature, and then filling in the gaps and figuring out what additional staff I need to bring on to fill in those areas. And that's what I've been doing. So there's been a lot of discussion and working on even purchasing policies and procedures, again, training with staff, and then from there, setting up certain contact persons into certain areas and figuring out how we can get just direct contact, depending on what the need is. So it's really been this first few months figuring out where your need is.
And then I think at that point, we will start to see some streamlining of some of our boards, some of our procedures, and some of the stuff staff is working on. And from that aspect of the city, I believe we are going to be more efficient.
I agree.
Than we have been in the past.
I agree.
But I wanted that, and I'm sorry to take up the city manager time. I wanted that to be on the record and known that we are in that process and where we're headed as far as the city attorney goes.
That sounds good. I like that.
All right, anything else on evaluation?
And speaking of, oh, by the way, I might go back to a very simplified version of the evaluation that we have had to look at, because it's the same kind of process with ratings for each item, but it's a very high level, fewer number of items, and then the same kind of listing of goals. So I'll be happy to share that.
You're going to take one of those and pass them on.
Yeah, I was just finishing
You're not keeping
finishing my thought.
So greedy.
I am.
Okay, well, do you want at least 7 or 8 different sample forms that I collected? Do you want to see the ones that we looked at last time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll send you that folder. Okay. All right, so basically this is the left column, and we're looking at the start of the page, start with the page that has the star at the top, because I didn't title anything. And the left column are the items that were in the evaluation, either original goals or things that were commented on. And one of the things I noticed about our list last year, some of them were either vague or very open-ended. It was not clear what necessarily we wanted to have happen. So on some of the things, I tried to tighten things up. Then I looked at them as like, some of the things weren't really necessarily just city manager goals. So I made a couple of columns: city manager, commission city manager. I pulled out or identified ones that were major infrastructure projects, and then things that are just ongoing, which I'm not sure something you expect to be happening every year is a goal for the year. Because if that was the case, we'd have like 100 or more. So that's the second column is sort of my phrasing of what a goal might be. Some of them I didn't come up with something to put there. That doesn't mean I don't think it's important. It just means I didn't come up with wording to put there. So I don't know if you want to start on the left column or the second column.
Can we start with the left just to make sure that we know what goes out and stays in?
Okay. So like the timelines for updates to facilities, you know, that should really be an ongoing thing. That shouldn't be, to me, that's not ongoing. A goal for the year. That's something that should just be happening.
I think the issue has been timelines itself.
And one of the things, and I keep batting this around with myself, the airport authority, and you know, their business is much different, and their list of projects is much smaller. But at each meeting, you know, they have the PowerPoint slide that here are the 6 or 8 ongoing projects, and here's the status. And at each meeting, the engineer gets up and says, okay, this one's going out to bid, this one we've got this delay, this one it started, this one's 90% complete.
Well, I'm hoping we get that from our new dashboard.
And so does that go on the dashboard, or is that something we have as a report, or both?
Dashboard.
Dashboard.
Okay. Oh, so on the first line, timelines for updates to facilities, is there an annual goal in there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I'd agree that that's ongoing. And we address any issues with whether or not we have the appropriate information on deadlines with specific projects that are our goals.
Okay. And then,
so a caveat to that I would like maybe us to consider is long-term projects that may need funding sources or funding. Could that be an ongoing goal? Like, you know, what we've recently gone through, it was important for us to be kept apprised of where we were at with getting, you know, the water treatment plant redone, and even some of the pipe upgrade, you know, grants that we've gotten from the state. You know, a lot of that stuff is under his purview, and some of his direct staff.
So would the goal be an expectation that if something is defined as a long-term goal, we get a report on it?
Yeah.
Within so many days of?
But doesn't that go back to the dashboard?
Yeah. Do we do? Is the dashboard?
I mean, that's where the dashboard is headed.
Funding or timeline, project timeline?
Yeah, our expectation, I think, is that anything that's a long-term goal or a major project is on that dashboard and updated regularly.
Okay,
with the timeline, estimated completion dates, all that.
I believe that there should be some projects that are coming up in the future that aren't on the dashboard yet, that perhaps he is meeting with staff or discussing with staff or laying groundwork with staff, where the funding may come from. Are we taking it from the penny sales tax in 3 years? Is that making sense?
Yeah,
but I still think it's a little tied to the dashboard. So I mean, basically we're looking for a structure of reporting for both long-term projects in the planning stages and
Well,
projects underway.
I think projects that have been started are on the ground, go on the dashboard, and that's when when the public and us should start seeing some timelines, some goals, and those aren't necessarily in the city manager's control. But leading up to the groundbreaking of a project can be something he prods along, makes the contacts, tells Claudia to get a report done.
Or potential new projects that he's working with, say, Brady Lassard on, you know,
Right.
that guy back there,
Yeah, when he wakes up. Yeah.
when he wakes up, yeah.
That's where my mind is, but maybe I'm wrong.
A report of basically future projects.
Right.
They aren't to the point where.
Right.
Development
we're voting on
opportunities.
them yet.
Right. This is what we were working on, this is what we're discussing coming down the road.
What's an example? The ball fields?
The ball fields, how about, I don't know what neighborhood hasn't been repaved in a long time, but let's just say Groveview hasn't been repaved in 20 years. That should be something that's earmarked for county, oh my gosh, what is the tax we use for that?
The, third gen.
Third gen.
Sales tax.
This is third gen sales tax projects we're looking at for 2028.
But stuff like that should be in the public works schedule already. I don't see that as a new project for planning. The ball fields, yes.
Well, you're thinking more just early idea based. This
Yes.
is something we think we can do with that
Yes.
coming money.
Yes.
This is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And if it is put in there as a goal, that means we're going to evaluate the city manager based on that. So do we evaluate him by saying, what, you have no ideas this year? I mean, that might be a little vague. So how do we list it as a goal and make it something that we can evaluate the city manager based on?
Well, I don't know how we've.
But 5 years ago, Mayfair would have been on the list. The fire station would have been on the list. The water plant would be on the list. But now all three of those are in the dashboard. Am I understanding you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we want a reporting structure, reporting form, report structure for long-term planning of projects.
My blood sugar's low, I'm trying to get it going. Thank you.
All right. We've had, and we're spending money tonight on the sewage plant. You know, I don't have a grasp of everything that's been done and everything that needs to be done.
Right.
I think that's a clear, you know, let's all understand what's going on with it.
I mean, to the point of, I keep imagining just walking through that plant and looking at every single part and saying, this is how long we think this is going to last. The entire guts of the plant.
Which I believe that process or that assessment has been started, but, you know, last time we wanted him just to manage, you know, fixing the plant. Now I think let's make it more specific. We need to know, because we've spent a ton of money on that thing.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot in the long-term planning.
done?
There's 100 line
What
items
is
in
being
there,
done, what needs to be
yeah.
done.
A master plan.
We need a master plan, and we need to be
But
able
I also
to
want a review of what we've done.
anticipate.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's where the ball's been dropped in the past. Maybe there isn't a master plan for some of this stuff. And maybe those are goals that maybe we should have.
We need to do as good a job as we can on anticipating where the issues are going to come. Not, you know, not a magic 8-ball, but a real assessment of.
I know Brent is still just starting to scratch the surface of what all he took upon his shoulders and where and what needs to be addressed immediately, coming down the road, in the future. And that is maybe something that we would like to see a better grasp of maybe by the end of next year, of this year.
Okay, so what other, are there other, I'll say parts of the city, but that's right, really the right phrase, where we need master plans?
I would love to see a master plan for the fire department to be a FSO1. Is that what it's called?
ISO.
ISO.
ISO 1.
The county is, and their residents save money on their homeowners insurance because of that, and we are not. And I think that needs to be a long-term goal for the city.
You know, really, we should have a master plan for everything.
We should, yes.
Okay, so which ones do we need this year? Utilities,
Utilities,
fire,
fire.
Public safety building is fairly new. There shouldn't be any issues there.
you have a weigh in on where we need a master plan?
We can get with staff and see. What we are also looking at doing is having each of the directors make a presentation to the commission on where we are. We have done that in the past, and it's on the list for 2026, so you can hear from them what plans they have and what projects they're working on.
Mayor, I don't want to overburden an already, in some cases, overburdened staff, and give them a whole new project to work on. But I would like a rough master plan if one doesn't exist. Is that fair? For each director.
Because they could come back and say, well, we have one, here
Right.
it is.
Right.
Then that's just remind us.
Jerry Sullivan might very well have a master plan, we just don't know it.
I think that's fair.
Have I not been speaking English? Because this is the thing that frustrates me, and then you get little slick ass comments from other commissioners that saying that other commissioners don't do their job. But I've said this before. I'm just wondering if I'm speaking another language, because I talked about this before with the North Sewage Plant. I talked about this with the pump station and said that we needed these things. Now, Patrick says it, Claudia says it, Art says it, and now it's something, oh yeah, let's make sure that we can put this on the city managers. I mean, like, I'm so frustrated with this commission.
I think there's something else coming down the line, but I don't know when or where or how. But I kind of think we're going to have a change of command at the police department at some point. I don't know that a master plan necessarily applies to a police department, but perhaps there needs to be a consideration of where we're headed there.
We call that succession planning.
And what changes or overview of policies and procedures might need to be done there. I don't know if a master plan applies to the police department or the fire department, honestly. But their facilities, their equipment, their vehicles certainly fall into a master plan, probably.
That's part of the capital plan, too.
Yeah. I think though what the difference with the fire department is, you know, we would like to know, what does it take to get ISO 1?
Yes.
What is that path?
Yes.
I don't think there's a statement we make like that with the police department. They've got all the accreditation. They got the Excelsior accreditation. I don't know what, but I do agree with you in the way the city manager phrased it, was the succession planning.
Yes.
And I think that's an ongoing thing in all departments.
The only thing I'll say is perhaps there's categories of crimes that occur that perhaps from time to time we need to review how we can lower that crime rate in that category. Do we have a plan for that? We have some crimes in the city that are higher than others, and what's the plan for that?
Okay.
I did see where we are making an attempt to get more traffic officers on the street, and that's awesome to see. That is definitely an area where we need to improve. Speed and traffic safety issues have long been a problem in many areas of the city, so personnel will never hurt that problem.
Okay, moving on down. The marina, we already have a master plan. Our issue there is FEMA. I think this year it's time to start looking at some other funding and move that along rather than just waiting on FEMA. Federal appropriations, even state appropriations. We talked with our legislative delegation. They weren't real thrilled with the marina. And I don't know why. I think that's maybe one we need to work on with them.
They weren't real thrilled with what?
Well, in terms of here are different things. And that one they said they didn't? Yeah, he didn't, yeah. I pitched that to Broder, and he was very cool on that one. He was much more, he felt like the Civic Center, air conditioners for the Civic Center was a much easier or much more likely thing. So I think, the marina is big enough that we need to maybe.
Well, we should have asked for an underwater vehicle like another city got. That's what we should have done.
Who got an underwater vehicle?
I think somebody on the other side of the lake.
Interesting.
I was thinking you were going
Okay.
there.
But I jest.
All right. But that's something, we can't show up in their office and say, hey, we'd like $1 million. We need to pitch that and plan that ahead.
I'm sorry, Claudia.
Go ahead.
Let's be honest. Getting help from the state has been difficult on those kind of projects. I know that we had tried a parking garage deal a couple of years ago. I think we tried 2 years in a row, and 1 year I think we made the list and the governor cut us, right? Am I remembering correctly? Yeah. So it's been difficult to get help from Tallahassee on projects like this. So I do think it's time to start.
So I would say that should be a goal to look for some funding besides us and FEMA for that project.
How are we with the grant writing process in general? Do people who have to do that internally get sufficient training to do the best job they can writing grants?
At this point, the city does not have a grant writer. Different departments have individuals that write grants.
That's what I've heard. So, same question. Do they get training? Are we writing grants in the best way possible to get the money? Or can we do better? Could that be a goal?
I can tell you we used to have a grant writer, and it was a waste of money.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying we need a writer. Just
Very-
want to make sure the people who have to
Right.
write them are trained and doing
We have one
a good
right
job.
next to you.
I haven't been doing all that well lately.
Just throwing it out there.
I think that's a good point. The people that we asked, and I think, we have been fairly successful. I don't know if there's training they need or if they're fine without training, but I would, certainly if they needed training, I would think we would be willing to.
Sure.
Does
And
the league
certainly there are some
provide
that police
maybe?
know that have gotten the grants.
But Chris Smith's good at it right there.
Well, that's what I'm worried about, if Chris is writing them all.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding, Chris.
She only says that because she saw your pudding ability.
I mean, if there is, maybe the league provides some training that's free or available, that everybody can just be, maybe some refresher. You never know when you're going to find something that makes your grant just that much better than somebody else is asking for from the same bucket.
Is that something our lobbyists can help with?
Maybe.
Grant writing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We use them more for interactions with state agencies and state representatives.
There's usually a prohibition of them writing a grant.
Is it? Okay.
Well, yeah, but they might, I mean, just make some connection with the league and
Right,
say,
no,
hey.
Helping us find one.
Okay. For the opportunity site, I would like to get the gravel lot under contract this year. Get at least that first piece done. And I know we talked about, we want to, is Brady in here?
No, I stepped out.
I know we've talked about, what does the market want to do? I really believe it's our land. We should make sure it's what we want. So, we did the survey, we've got ideas, turn Brady loose on doing some recruitment, redo the proposal. I don't think we need to do all of the property at one time, but I would like to see the gravel lot under contract. Comments on that one?
Under contract for what?
For development.
Done right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We actually have a pretty good plan from the Heritage Park proposal. Everybody liked what that looked like. I think some tweaking. I really would like it to be fee simple rather than all rental, but now's not the time to hash out what that's going to be, but just think about, is that something we think should get done this year?
Well, it's my understanding the hotel is finally moving forward across the street.
Yeah, that one over there, yeah.
So that means all of those townhomes are sold?
I don't know. I don't think that was a condition of that.
I thought it was.
Oh, I don't disagree with keeping the grassy area open and putting that off.
I have grave concerns for downtown and where we're headed. And I don't know what new construction we're gonna entice. Nations project has never been completed. The new Dan Matthews project seems to be on life support. There's still a lot of vacant spaces. I don't know if we're as attractive as we were when Heritage Park first came down the pike.
Oh, I think we are.
We have some internal processes that we're still evaluating, and I think need changing. This is going to lead us down a rabbit hole I don't think you intended, so I'm just going to stop. And I'll wait and discuss this later. Overall, in this city, we are struggling to get projects done. And that's not even on our own property. Are we gonna be able to get a project done on our own property? I don't know. So I don't know if that's a fair goal to put. If you want to say a working plan and partner by the end of the year, that might seem to be an achievable goal.
Okay. So have the development plan.
Okay.
Okay. Adding the water plant, that's happening, so I don't see that stays as a goal.
Do we still need to make sure that moves along?
Well, yeah, but then that ends up as a major infrastructure project, which that's the case for all major infrastructure projects. They should be moving along.
Okay. I don't like saying that a project is handled until we actually break ground. Does that make sense?
Yes, but in terms of this is the goal for, I mean, to me, that's just his job.
Mm-hmm.
That the projects that we have going are being managed.
Okay.
Last year, it was, we've got to make sure we get the money, we've
Okay.
got a timeline, we need on top of this, we need to get to that point where we're ready to go. I think we're to that point.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. For us to get to increase our ISO rating, we're gonna have to add fire stations. So
Okay.
is scouting a new location for a new fire station this year?
Well, I think that would fall under the fire ISO master plan.
Okay, all right. I would like by the end of the year to know if we have an idea of where we're gonna build a new fire station.
Okay.
Commissioner, is that simply for the ISO or just the,
Just for progress in general,
but if we can increase the ISO to 1 without a new fire station?
we can't.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It could be, there's a couple of experts in the room above me, but I don't believe we can get to ISO, increase our ISO without a new fire station.
Do we have the funds to add a new fire station?
Well, that's where the plan
Mm-hmm.
comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, last year we had managed discussions with Seminole County. I rewrote that as, get a plan developed, and I think that the discussions have been moving along, and so that's why I feel like the next step is let's put the plan in place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you were close enough?
We've had a number of discussions with the county, particularly the county manager, and they have a meeting in April, I think it is, with the county commission. So,
Okay, so you think it's reasonable that we could actually know what?
because they have to make a decision. on
Right,
some
it's really
things.
up to them, but, okay.
Do we, do we need to make sure we have the proper zoning and future land use that covers these buildings?
Yeah, I talked to Brady, actually Brady talked to me about that, that's one of the things that they've got under consideration.
Okay.
That, we control the zoning.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure it's the zoning. Right now, like
Right.
the county services building is zoned for government services. So. Okay, I moved the follow-up on survey comments to just ongoing. Same with the citizen survey comments.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with that?
Yep.
We had the public dashboard. We need to get that implemented, and and where the public and us are using it. I think that still needs to stay as a goal.
We do plan to have at the next commission meeting the first quarter report for the dashboard.
You okay with that?
No later than. Keep in mind, our original goal was October last year. It's going to be great, but I need it to happen.
The Business Advisory Committee focus group thing, we've talked back and forth on. I took that and put it more into terms of things we were hoping to get out of that, which would be reduce the time to get purchase orders done, to get hiring done, to get permits done. That's where we're looking for outside people to help us, I think.
Yeah, and are we to the point, or will we be to the point of being able to get some feedback that says things have improved based on the changes we've made?
Mayor and Commissioners, I've started meeting with the Seminole County Business Advisory Board out of the Public-Private Association of Seminole County, and I had the first meeting with them last week, and we're going to have ongoing meetings. It's representatives from the different businesses, and I think that's going to be very fruitful with us in getting their input in terms of our process. We still have that Rattilla study that we're going to get the results from, but in terms of having outside businesses working with us to make our processes even better, this is already in progress.
That's PBAS?
It's the subgroup of PBAS.
Okay.
So I think that and specifically the Raftella study, when we will see the final report from that, that should be part of the goal, that it's due by such and such a date, and then we will be taking some actions based on it.
But I continue to hear from staff, and whether, regardless of where the holdup is, that sometimes time to a purchase order and times to an actual being able to hire is longer than they would like.
And we've had conversations.
I know that can be on both sides of the form, but the goal would be just to reduce the amount of time. Right?
And the goal is to have some real hard data so we can get past this perception as reality that we still have a problem. Back to your point you were raising earlier. Until we address this, what's the point of doing anything on our own property?
Okay, I would like to keep the customer service training. I don't know how you want to phrase that as a goal so that we know it did or did not happen. I mean, we can't wait to not hear from people complaining.
Well, how about that's included in the city manager's monthly report? What,
Who's been trained? What percentage of the population has been trained?
what training is ongoing? What training is coming up?
That's fine.
Comprehensive review of all manual processes I thought was large and vague and didn't know how to phrase that for what we really want to have happen. One thing I did think about was I would like for somebody, because I'd run into them not all the time, but on a regular basis, to look at every place you can touch our website. And does it say what it's supposed to say, and does it get you to where you want to go?
Yeah, and I put this one in there.
But, I always have to make sure I choose my words correctly, but we have added staff in different areas of the city the last couple of years where we were told they were needed. I think it's time to start seeing better results of that, i.e. purchasing. finance, IT. I think it's time for us to start seeing, if we're still seeing there's problems with the website, I'm not sure, are we assigning the proper personnel there? Or do we have the proper checkoffs in IT?
Are we adding people because our systems are 1950?
I'm not sure we have anybody whose job it is to go through the website and look for things.
That's basically department by department.
I've heard that we don't have a webmaster, for lack of a better term. I think that's what they're called, but I don't know. I've heard that we don't, and I've heard a lot of this. So maybe
Nico was picking up a lot of it.
Right?
Well, even when it
But I
comes
don't
to,
think we ever got to the point where he owned the website.
Right. So maybe that's a sub goal that needs to be. I don't know if we need a master plan of the website, but maybe a sub goal is website improvements and personnel
and just,
responsible for
yeah,
such.
forms processing.
Yeah.
Do we have forms that could be automated that aren't, that seem to be automated, but they're still cumbersome? Do we have things out there that are not even designed for what everybody looks at them on?
And maybe Director Keegan's going to come back and say, I need another person. And maybe that's true. I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe it does. Everyone will raise hell because it's not fixing a sewage problem.
Fun fact about something that worked the way it's supposed to.
Okay.
I had to add some water to my swimming pool.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh, I got to pay attention to how much I'm putting in there. That evening, I got an email that said, hey,
It is working.
you used a lot more water today than you usually do. You might want to check.
Yep.
So
That was good confirmation of the meters
meter.
working.
The new meter and the new portal does what it's supposed to do. I went in there, I said I want an alert when this happens, and I got it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So even if we broke that down to something like a review of all application processes or any processes that require a form. And yeah, I would like to think that's already being done, and we're doing the best we can given our budget and staff.
Okay. I think we still need to zero in on what that is really going to
More specifics.
be. And it may just be a matter of coming up with a list of here ones we know need to be taken care of.
Maybe I'll put myself in the position of an applicant for every single form we have to fill out and go through it.
And I found, that's how I found things. It's like, I was looking for something, a building permit thing, and it said the form's here, but the form wasn't there. So it's just, when they made one change, the other change didn't get made. And so somebody just needs to go through and see those things. And actually Nico helped with it. And the page there on CitizenServe now is much better in terms of here is where you go to get things.
Could be a job for our new intern. Help
somebody-
them get to know what the process are.
Might be an idea. Sewage overflows in Mayfair and Plumosa. I'm not sure what assessment or remedial action has already been taken, or if those are still issues. Before we put that as a goal, I think I need to know more about. I don't know if anyone, we haven't had real solid rain for a while, so I don't know if things, I know they were doing some work in Mayfair with some pipelining and some things. So I don't know if that still needs to be a goal because I don't know the status. And the same would be true with Lily Court. I I'm not sure there's more that we can do. I know there was discussion about buying, a property making it a pond, and I'm not sure where that is either, so. How do y'all want to handle those two?
So they're still unresolved. Then we won't know until
Well,
rainy season.
I mean, I'm sure we can get a report on more clearly what's the status of Mayfair and Formosa Drive.
We definitely need to find out something with Lily Court.
And then Lily Court, the real question is there a resolution to 16 inches of frame?
Well,
And I'm not sure, but I know there was a discussion about purchasing that property. So before I put those as goals, I would like to know
what we can get done.
status,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, if it's the same property I'm thinking of, it's now listed for sale to the
Right.
public, so we must have not decided. to
And I
do
know
it.
I had some conversations with staff about it.
At where? Where you said property was?
On Lily Court.
Yeah. The one there, at Lily and 20th, the one that flooded really bad.
All
Or
of
one
them
the
flooded
ones that-
really bad.
One of the
So
ones,
let's
that
just
flooded.
not put that on the one. All of them flooded really bad.
But only 2 of them are on that corner.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on that front page?
Of the goals that we've mentioned, I just want to ensure I don't forget this. Is it possible, Mr. Bonaparte, for once we finish with all of these, you take a couple weeks or whatnot, and then to give us a realistic timeline of, okay, commissioners, this is what you said these goals are, and then this is how I'm going to approach it. It will take me until March to do A, B, and C. Then it'll take me this long, and then just give us like the little plan. Because to me, we're just repeating the same things over and over again. I mean, how long have we been talking about the marina, the opportunity site, the water plant, Lily Court, for God knows how long? If you give us something realistic, not what we want to hear, but what Mr. Bonaparte and his departments can actually, the timeline you can actually reach. So now I know that you've heard what we said, and then I can measure it when it's time to do your evaluation next time, because you've explained to me it's gonna take me to this amount of time to do it. Then, because what I don't want to do is keep talking about the same thing every year. We talked about all of this at the goals retreat that we had this summer. So I'm hoping, sir, if of what we're mentioning now and what we will continue to talk about, if that's something that you could do.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. What we have had in the past is that the mayor will provide me with a summary of this meeting with the specific that you talked about, and then I can respond to that.
That's not what I asked though, sir. But I asked if you could give me a timeline of how your plan of attack for this. This is what you've heard from the commission. We've done the evaluation. Okay, this is how I'm strategically gonna address these issues, and this is how long it's gonna take me. Even if it goes past your next evaluation time, at least I can say, I know that the city manager is working on these items. And if something hasn't been addressed according to the document that he gave me, that focus won't happen until he's met with development services in March, and they're gonna have a retreat, and they're gonna talk about all of this. That's what I'm asking for.
I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. Once I get the document from the commission, which is through the mayor, then I can provide you with that.
Okay.
And then if we're efficient, it all comes back to the commission at one time for final approval. Okay. When I say we, I really mean me.
Well, in fairness to the commission, the mayor's taken on the role of what he's done as the homework. And what I'm hearing, that he will then get it to you as a body for you to say, yes, these are what we agreed upon for the city manager. Is that clear?
Yeah. We'll just do it more quickly this time. Okay. Anything else on front page? Then, on to the back page. Here I have way fewer, because either these weren't necessarily mine, or I couldn't figure out how to word them. The first one, one-on-one meetings, I think that's sort of on each of us.
Yeah.
To do that. So I don't see that as a goal. I think that's more of a goal for us to make
Mhm.
sure that happens than to put that on him.
And I did indicate in the email to all of you that I would like to set that up. I have one set up, and I'm looking forward to setting up the other 4.
And it's something that had come up at our last meeting, I think, the last couple of meetings, was clarifying who's the communicator and who do we want to see communication from and in what ways. And I think that's going to be, that's not a goal for the city manager. I think that's a discussion we need to have at a work session.
Well, isn't Ms. Green and Lisa, aren't they coming up with something? Isn't that why we had to meet with them individually? Because they're going over the communications thing and then how we're going to approach that in 2026?
That's part of it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the question, and I think I stirred up because I said, well, we had said, the city manager and Lisa and I had sort of said, I'll be the face. But we were expecting, other commissioners were expecting things from the city manager. So we need to get clear what that is. Okay. Permitting process. So I made a couple of comments there. It's not really I don't know if that's in the form of a goal.
What was the first word supposed to be? Stew study?
What?
True study. I think that's supposed to be true.
Okay. True study.
I don't know. That's how it came to me.
Okay.
So that was either one of y'all's type. I don't know whose that
I'm just going to say
that comment was.
The
Hey,
study.
this is your form, Mayor. You're going to have to take responsibility.
Okay. Is it the? My guess is it's the study.
Okay, I think that's right. So the new goal is change culture, reduce number of resubmittals, require explanation. For
Sometimes bifocals don't work very good. Come on.
And I would hope that the study leads to these things, but from my point of view, that's what needs to happen. And I know, and I'm going to make this comment, I think I'll make this comment tonight too, because of an issue that somebody's going to be here to talk about something. There have been so many times when there's been a complaint and I go look in Citizen Serve and I read through all that, and I'm on staff side because they changed their plan. They didn't, they got the comments, they didn't respond to the comments. They responded to the comments but then submitted something else. Or they waited 5 months to submit and then complained that the city was taking a long time. And when I see that, I defend the city.
Right.
But recently one has come up, and I don't have the whole story, so I'm going to be careful. But we need to make sure that we're responding to the application fully the first time.
Not just
Okay.
one issue.
Yeah, so that new comments don't come up without a reason for new comments.
Okay.
And I don't have the whole story, so
Right.
that's why I'm trying to couch this the way I am, okay? Because I know both of y'all know what I'm talking about. It's actually a huge project out next to me. And we aren't, in Seminole County has also been a huge holdup. So, but anyway, one of my goals would be that, if the applicant is doing what they're supposed to do, there shouldn't be so many resubmittals. And I hope the process, the study takes care of that.
And we don't, because I don't want to create extra work for anybody, but it would be ideal if we could get past anecdotal information and say, based on all the applications we got last year, this is the percentage where it was.
Well,
He's provided that to us.
We have had that. Yeah, because you've given us numbers on that, how many and how many.
Well,
So anybody who pays attention to our meetings and goes through that public information knows.
I have an idea, and I know we have the Reftelis study coming, and I think Mr. Raimondo has some ideas he's probably already pondering. But I would also maybe like at some point to hear from our ombudsman that you pushed for a year ago now. And maybe hear from her at some point during all of that, all of those studies and ideas, because she has experience with other governments.
That's a great idea.
Is she seeing roadblocks? Is she seeing issues? I think she is brought in to perform a duty, but if she's hitting roadblocks too, what are we doing?
Amy and I have spoken, and
Okay.
she understands that were that to be happen and what the process is, she's also going to be involved with the Private Business Association of Seminole County's subcommittee dealing with development processes and getting from the developers any issues they have dealing with Sanford and getting projects through the system.
Okay.
All right, so unless somebody has an idea of phrasing for that one, I'll come up with something. And then anticipating negative publicity. I'm not sure how you necessarily do that. That is one of the things that was discussed at the communications meeting.
The external communications policy.
That, departments should be letting communications know when something's happening that they think might.
That's correct, Mayor. That's
So-
where we know that there are certain hot button issues that we know the public is, even rightfully, going to jump on if a department is aware that that issue has come to the surface, to make sure that Lisa is aware of it so that the city can respond proactively before the issue gets too big and people are posting about it. Once you know about it, to get that over to the communications department.
The one thing early on, forever ago when I started this, I think it's my 10th year, that really frustrated me was when bad news came from the press, and I got questions from the press before I ever heard from it from anybody inside the city. In many aspects, that has improved. What hasn't improved is our own ability to get out in front of our own issues before they're too hot. And I'm not going to go over what those issues might not have been recently, but somewhere along the line, people should have known that there was an issue that was going to affect people, and it should have come to you. And it should have been a meeting of minds to put out something from the city ahead of the tornado or monsoon or the tsunami.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from on this. We got to do better.
Yeah, I think the goal is that the city manager should brief the commission on any potential issues that could be
Well, but
significant.
he has to have staff.
And that's a part of
let
it.
him know, yeah.
Right.
I believe that we knew that there was a problem with Porch Fest before they backed out. They made the final call to back out. We did not.
Yeah.
But
We
we knew
knew.
that there were issues. We knew that we had some hurdles on both sides that needed to be cleared. I don't know if you got involved too late in the game or you didn't know it was so serious. I don't know, and I'm not here to rehash it. But that kind of stuff
Yeah, no.
I mean, of course, in fairness, I had met with them and I was still caught off guard.
I completely understand that, but we knew there were issues.
Yeah, but I thought they had been handled.
We need to treat others how we want to be treated, and that's everything from the permitting to communications to litter. It's oftentimes we take this approach of it's us versus them, and we forget that we work for them. There is no us without them. And so we need to make sure that our communication, we stand up for employees and for city government, but let's also remember that we work for these people, and we don't often do that.
Yeah. And we need to establish, I agree with you, Commissioner Britton, that we just need to establish an environment where everybody in staff is comfortable raising what might be awkward or uncomfortable at the right time to the right people, based on what the citizens need.
Okay, so is there a goal there? Or is the communication plan that's already been being worked on, cover it?
I think they're addressing it now.
Yeah, it is all part of communications.
So I
We've
can
probably
mark that
raised it
under
enough
ongoing.
times that we've got it covered in the right place.
Okay. And
Well,
then-
hold on, I'm not sure the purpose of what they're doing meets what I'm concerned about. So I want to make sure that you're a part of conversations with them, please.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a goal, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. I understood that Attorney Green was concerned about legality issues falling on the city and even on us as individuals. And that might be the reason we went down this road with this communications policy. Plus, I believe the communications people wanted everything to be streamlined and ran through them as well. I'm not sure that encompasses staff letting the city manager know, city manager letting Lisa Holder know, or Nico, or whoever the person may be. Okay, we need to get something written up on this. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, the next one, I don't know whose this was, but I wasn't sure how to put it into a goal. I think the water, wastewater, stormwater is spread out across a couple of other goals already. So I don't know if there's something there to add or not.
I'm sorry, which one?
The functional priorities.
This was kind of a part goal and part just ranting based on our odor issues. Just making sure it is a priority. It's kind of a given now from hindsight's perspective, but at the time, I think I was trying to say maybe our priorities weren't in order. Address it through better infrastructure and managed growth. But you know, it's not a specific goal. It's just kind of an emphasis on where I think we need to be.
Well, I think the infrastructure and growth is a big part of the job
It is part of the job.
for all of us. Okay. Then technology, I didn't know if there was something specific there. I know we had talked about,
It's kind of related to the manual processes review. Maybe a more simple goal for the year could be to just have a presentation from IT on where we are with IT projects, what have we changed, what is better as a result.
But I wonder if this is one of those places where we might need a master plan. I know there's capital improvement probably that they have, but
yeah, and I'm sure Robert has something, and I know we get all of these work in progress being tested,
The
but
digital transformation plan,
yeah.
which, well, as you were talking, I wrote, what if we just, can we get identification of what are the next 5 processes and/or forms that are going to be, or 10 or however many that are going to be done? What's next?
Yeah.
What are the ones, what do we expect to accomplish?
And have they been, I
And
don't
it's
even know
really
if they've
more
been given
coming from
timelines.
them than from us, because they've got that plan in place, I guess. We just don't understand it.
I know there's been at least one director that spoke of maybe trying to get AI involved in some things.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's a question for IT. Can they kind of tell us if AI could be used in some of our processes to make them better coming down the road?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
We're already
members of the
doing some of that in
commission,
planning.
one of the discussions that the executive management team is having at tomorrow morning's meeting is dealing with technology and the municipal use of technology, which is a lot more than just IT.
Right.
IT is computers, but there's a lot of municipalities that are using technology, whether it's for road improvement projects.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be looking at how can we use technology better in the city of Sanford. And that's separate from IT being computers and software.
Right. So do you want me to write something up like that for them to tell us what the next steps are? Or do you want to wait for an actual presentation?
I think it could be both.
Presentation might help at least me determine whether or not we need specific goals
Okay.
beyond just ongoing.
Okay. Prioritize capital projects. I think that's sort of covered already in here, maybe. And then I added 2 on my own there at the end. We did the Civic Center's assessment. We've done some of the work that needed to be done. I think if we're serious about restoring that, we should start looking at applying for historic preservation grants. So I'd like to see that done this year. I think they've raised the amount up to $1 million now from 500,000. And then I've had some vague conversations with staff and with mainly just looking at some emails that that we get and seeing what other cities have done. Can we look at either floating solar panels? I know that's on retention ponds. Do we want to look at that? I know we just put a roof on City Hall, so that should make it more viable for solar panels on City Hall. Do we want to look at a solar project in the city?
Well, one that I had hoped maybe we could work towards at some point is even just covered parking in this parking lot. But they now put solar panels on them, and I believe that there's a partnership there where it helps pay for, and then our employees might have some covered parking for their vehicles while they're here.
I like that idea.
Okay. You gave it.
All right. Any others? Anything else that we haven't talked about
We
that you'd
did
like to see here?
have something in here about personally inspecting city facilities at least monthly. You didn't include that one, maybe because we already did it, or was that still a goal?
I know that was a goal last year. I don't think it was monthly, though.
Yeah, how about we have a quarterly walkthrough of, city facilities? Does that give them enough time? Because there's a lot of
More
facilities.
reasonable, yeah.
We said that at the summer retreat.
Right.
But it needs to be in his goals
So
for this year.
the question is, do we keep it?
The summer retreat wasn't forever goals.
No, but I mean, it was just recent, so, I mean, we
I said it
should
was a
still be on
February
those.
retreat.
Whatever.
But we're doing goals for this year.
Okay.
Are we just gonna copy what we did last year?
Well, a lot of stuff hasn't been done, Patrick, so, you know.
So anyway, there's a lot of city facilities. I think a quarterly walkthrough with the directors, so that he's apprised of maybe.
The number of them, how much time is it going to take him out?
Well, that's why I said
If he
monthly
does them
was
4 times.
Well, that's why I said
Here.
monthly was crazy. If
Yeah.
you think quarterly's too much, then we'll do it biannual.
How is quarterly too much? You work, it's 5 days a week. I mean, how? The city manager can stay late, or come in early, or do on the weekend. That's necessary.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, in my monthly reports to you, I do give you updates in terms of my visits to the city facilities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just run through my head, I can count 20 places he would have to go.
Right.
I'm sure I don't have them all in my head.
So that's 5 facilities per quarter.
And then that would be just once per year.
You mean one visit
One
to a
visit per
facility?
facility per year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we had last year, I think, isn't it?
Okay, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. How about, yeah,
What?
I don't know. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole people expect us to go. So he visited, the public safety building 6 months ago. Do we know if anything was found? Do we know if there were any discussions about improvements that need to be made? Are there plans being made for those improvements? I mean, where are we headed here?
Yeah, do we have an inspection as a goal and a report, but based on that inspection?
To me, that starts to sound like micromanaging.
Then sometimes micromanaging is needed. It is good for the city manager to lay his eyes on the different facilities to ask questions. Why is this black smut coming off of the end of the plant? Why do we have sludge here? You know, it's every now and then, especially in the state that we're in, it's okay to micromanage, to just ask some questions, to be more involved, to actually go down the stairs and look at the pump.
And just to have the staff knowing that the city manager
Right.
is coming out there for an inspection.
And that he will be asking questions because he's in tune. Micromanaging is, I want to see what you're doing every single day. No, but I'm watching what's going on. I'm asking these questions. I'm following up, and I'm going to report back to the commission.
Well, I was referring to when he visits a site, does he have to give us a report?
He doesn't have to give me a report.
Okay, that was the
He
micromanaging
can
I was.
manage.
I just would like to make sure that he has eyes on these things. So I'm not saying, well, I went down there and I saw this, that, and the other. Did you not see that? Yes, Commissioner, I saw that. We already addressed that.
Okay. All right, anything else? Okay, so you'll have at least one more shot at it. My goal will be to have this at our next meeting. All except two of us won't be here at the next meeting.
Yeah. And I'm going to send you the simplified version, or drop it into a, do we have a shared folder?
We can't.
Or, yeah, that's right.
We can't do it that way.
Negative.
Now, I can get it to everyone in advance, and you can share feedback with the city manager, who can then share it with the commission.
Okay, do that.
But we can't put a document there where all of us are going to work on it. That'd make things too easy.
I know.
You just reminded me, when's the next meeting? I gotta be sick.
No, you are. You're
One of
getting
the
much
two of y'all
healthier
aren't going to
now.
be here. I'm going to be very angry.
Listen, Vice, you're going to be managing the meeting.
No, because I'm leaving for Tallahassee after the meeting.
Oh, you're gonna be here?
Yeah, I'll be
Oh,
here
okay.
so that we have a quorum.
Okay, I won't be sick then.
You know that, man. He's trying to be
Okay.
funny, man.
I was getting
You
nervous.
do that.
Because you have to on Monday, don't you?
I've seen her drive. She can make it in 3 hours.
No, but I thought you had stuff on Monday.
There is one meeting on Monday, but I don't necessarily have to do that. It's just getting up there for first thing Tuesday morning.
Well, don't skip the Monday morning meeting.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. So,
My committee would not be.
yeah, yeah,
Pleased.
I would.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. So I will have that out so you can look at it before the meeting and share back. All right. Mayor board's appointments. Can we go, while I pull that up, can we go to whatever the city manager has?
Okay. The next item is the regular meeting items, and I would like to have Brent talk about one item, which is the dispute, the resolution of the dispute with the Del Air heating. It's on the agenda for your action, but I'd like for Brent to have an opportunity to share with you the background of that, although the agenda memo is pretty self-explicit.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. The item that the city manager is referencing is an item for Del Air. So back in June of 2024, we went out to get quotes for the replacement of 2 air conditioning units at one of our plant facilities. The quotes came in from the vendors. We looked at the quotes. The quotes were Del Air was around $32,975. Barnes was $43,000, and Fastmeyer was $38,800. So being that we requested 2 units, we looked at the quotes. It looked as if everyone had quoted 2 units. So we gave the work to Del Air, who was at $32,900. Del Air went out to do the work and installed 2 units, like the city asked for, but then they submitted an invoice for double the amount. So of course we questioned why the amount was doubled, and they said, well, their proposal was only for 1 unit. So we asked, why did you install 2 units? They said, an employee, I don't have all of the particulars and details, but allegedly an employee asked that they install the 2nd unit, which to me was strange. But nonetheless, we disputed the bill, and with the help of the city's attorney, we were able to resolve the dispute with them, which is the basis of the $11,000 tonight, which was the additional that they're requesting above the $32,000 that was in their original estimate.
And if I may, this is just an area of training, right? So again, talking about where there are areas that just need improvement, we addressed it. I addressed the training issue, negotiated the resolution to make sure it was in line with what the other proposals were, worked with staff with regard to their policies, and I look forward to seeing improvement.
So no, we don't expect any issues from the other bidders?
No, that was not an issue at all. It is just a training issue of knowing what the policies provide for, knowing what authorities, people have. Sometimes training, there's a gap in training. So that's what I'm here for. We got through it, it's resolved. I got it negotiated in line, so we didn't do anything exorbitant, definitely not 2 units for 64 grand, and it's a done issue.
How big of units are these?
These were two
10-ton.
But how does that, okay, because now I guess we're micromanaging, but I mean, how does that get past, like, how does our directors and our supervisors not see that, something that large?
Part of what I'm doing, and I'm working with the department heads, and they're being receptive. So let me just put that out there. They're being receptive. There are areas where training needs to occur. We're doing it. There are areas where we need to shore things up. No catastrophes. I'd let you know, but we're shoring it up. And I'm shoring it up to limit the fact that these happen again. And Brent was just very helpful in getting me, again, this is a 2024 matter, but getting me the information so that we could reach it to a conclusion and move on. The 2 10-ton units have already been installed. We're enjoying the air, so how do we move forward with this? And that's what we're doing.
So if there's a positive out of this, does that mean we got 2 units for less than what we would normally pay for them?
Very competitively priced.
There you go.
As to what we wind up receiving these 2 units for. And I'm just continuing to not find issues, but find areas where we can improve. And that's what we're here for.
Imagine how many times that's happening just throughout, not just in this department, but, gosh.
But it was resolved, and it was resolved favorably.
Sounds good to me.
A lesson learned. Thank you, Brent.
All right. Thanks, man. The next item, briefing item, it's not on your agenda, but I've asked Chief Smith to share with the commission what the police department has been doing and will be doing, so we don't have future incidences like the one that's been reported in the media.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Bonaparte. City Manager asked me to give you a kind of an overview of what's been taking place with regards to Investigator Ronnie Neal. Just to give you kind of a timeline, and before I get started, I just want you to know that there are things that I can discuss and there's things that I cannot share. And please don't get frustrated because I can't share it. Just to give you a little bit of a timeline, Ronnie has worked with the department from 2003 until December of 2025. Between October 23rd and 2023 and July of 2024, Ronnie had placed 79 details to be billed for work at the Loss of Eaton, which is on Reinhardt Road. July of 2024, the City Finance Department began reviewing and reconciling unpaid vendors' accounts associated with off-duty details. Ronnie at the time was requested to produce invoices and information to the Finance Department to reconcile these accounts. In August of 2025, the Police Administration was made aware of the unresolved accounts and the continued lack of invoices and documentation. At that time, a plan and a timeline was put in place, tasking Ronnie to provide the information as he was the sole person in charge of this area of responsibility. October of 2025, a follow-up meeting was held with the Finance Department and Administration. Some accounts were reconciled, but there were a number of accounts that were unpaid. At that point, a deadline was set for November 25th of 2025, was given to Ronnie to have all of the invoices and items completed. November 25th, the Finance Department deadline was reached. Notification was made to the Police Administration that there were discrepancies were not rectified, and the matter appeared to, at this point, be a criminal matter. That day, a criminal investigation began. Between December 1st and 9th, the duties and responsibilities related to Ronnie Neal was reassigned to include information related to all details and internal affairs investigations. Between December 9th and December 15th, Ronnie Neal was placed on administrative leave. During this time, additional information was collected and reviewed with the State's Attorney's Office, FDLE, and a request was made by myself to reach out to the Secret Service due to the amount of information and funds and the locations of those funds where they were at. During this time, Ronnie Neal submitted his letter of resignation. Also during this time, the investigation revealed that the Loft of Eaton's had never had an off-duty detail or overtime detail at this location. The city of Sanford had paid Ronnie Neal through payroll during this time frame from 2023 through 2024. On December 16th, with the information obtained during this time frame, a warrant was issued for the arrest and termination of Ronnie Neal. The investigation continues as there may be other victims related to the deception and fraud committed by Ronnie Neal. As it is an ongoing investigation, I cannot share a great deal of the backgrounds or the details related to the case, especially in a public forum. 79 charges of official misconduct were filed based on his timesheets that were submitted. 1 count of organized fraud was filed as well, and that's based on the fact that he was the sole individual who prepared the timesheets, who prepared and created the false detail and the fraudulent activity that took place. Presently, the ongoing investigation is into the details of Ronnie Neal's and how payments were made and the invoices activities of all vendors. Again, the Secret Service and FDLE are assisting with this investigation. A lot of the investigation movement is dependent upon the Finance Department balancing the accounts for details and over time, so we can see exactly where the gaps in the funds received and vendors have not been paid. There is presently a forensic analysis or a forensic accounting, which is being done with the Finance Department with the assistance of FDLE. The internal issues that have been found. This case highlighted a concern with a failure to review the timesheets, sign them, and put them into the payroll system. This matter has been corrected. Changes that are already in place. Powers details has been assigned to a sergeant and a lieutenant to overview. The Finance Department is responsible now for invoicing all payments and collections of payments due from individuals, from vendors. Officers are now required to log in to Power Details when they arrive at the details, which is a check-in, which while check-in uses GPS notifications of where the officers are. This must be done to check in and out of the details. It's a time clock system. The policies have been updated with a number of critical changes. Timesheets must all be approved and signed by supervisors. Any adjustments made to timesheets after the submission must be approved, have approval documentation from a supervisor before payroll inputs them. We're presently reviewing a number of outside organizations and off-duty details for the department. This service will allow for better accounting, invoicing payments, and payments to other officers. This also highlights the need for an updated payroll system and payroll and timesheet system. Online electronic submissions would create a immediate supervisory approval and documentations of all timesheets. As some of you have asked about how did this happen, I can share with you that Ronnie Neal was the primary detail coordinator for the past 10 to 12 years. He was the sole person with access to the system and held one of the highest positions and trusted positions within the department. The practice that placed Ronnie Neal in the sole position's responsibility for both doing invoices to and from vendors as well as collecting payments. Again, this wasn't brought to our attention until August of 2025, when both the deputy chief and I had met with finance and made aware of the situation, that there was issues and concerns involving the payments and invoices of payments regarding off-duty details. We had no idea that any of the funds were missing and unpaid invoices were made until we had that meeting. We were assured that Ronnie Neal was working on the issues, and at that meeting, Finance was given access to our Power Details website, which was immediately granted by myself. As as we thought, we had nothing to hide. We gave them complete access to the information so that they have an opportunity to review the circumstances, which also allow for them to have the opportunity to go back and check any of the past year's issues and concerns. It goes without saying that we place our trust in a person who chose to lie, steal, and defraud those around him. This would include some of you at the dais, as he was a friend of many of you as well, including myself. During my press conference, I made a statement that I had no idea who Ronnie Neal truly is. The deeper we dug into his life, the more lies and deceptions we have uncovered. He lived a life in the shadows and fed upon our trust and relationships to cover up his criminal activity. Just to give you an example, and none of this is affecting the outcome of the case. None of us knew that Ronnie Neal was married.
What does that have to do?
When you get the entire case, Commissioner, you will completely understand that.
But there's things that you said that you shouldn't be discussing, so let's just keep it like that respectfully, sir.
Okay.
The personal things that are not related to this exact incident, I don't need to know, sir.
Well, ma'am, it does, but it doesn't. But if you don't want to hear it, then that's good with me, Commissioner. No disrespect.
I appreciate
This
it.
fraud should have been caught years ago. And because he was in a position of great trust, we failed to see his criminal actions under our nose. As the chief of police, part of the failure falls on me. I am the director of the department. I will not speak for any other department within the organization or any within the city. We always look for lessons learned, situations to learn from, and this incident has taught us a great deal. With that, we have developed solutions to deal with the details. We're looking into outside vendors to deal with the major aspects of the details. And what this will allow to do is allow finance and an outside organization to set safeguards to ensure that this does not happen again. As I stated earlier, we are still investigating the incident, and we believe that additional charges outside of the 80 charges that he has filed with now will be uncovered and additional criminal charges will be filed. I will take any questions that you have, and I'll be able to answer what I can, because again, it is an ongoing case. As I stated in the beginning, please don't get frustrated if I cannot answer all of your questions. Previously, I had sent an email indicating that if any of you wanted to sit down with me and have a straight conversation about the entirety of this case outside of a public forum, I would gladly do that. The only person who has taken me up on that has been Commissioner Austin.
Any questions?
Mr. Bonaparte, here at City Hall in the Utilities Department, when you have 3 past due payments, the account is shut down. It's final for non-pay. When a bank gets so many NSF fees, they freeze the account. So I'm not asking anything of the chief. I just want to put that out there that I don't understand how we get to not knowing that far out. Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not I'm not accusing finance of anything, not accusing chief of anything, but I know that in certain areas, we have some things that stop things instead of it constantly reoccurring. That it don't sit right with me to say this many invoices came through and we didn't know and all of that. That's really funny, but I'm going to believe that the department is handling it and we've got all of the information that we need. But to say that we just, I especially because our finance department, we get, awards for exceptional service and all of the stuff that we're doing. And I know in different departments, we have things that shut things down when it's too many pass-through invoices or too many bills that have gone out. Just like I said in utilities, 3 pass-through, final for non-pay. Shut down, you can't even proceed. So for that many invoices to come through for that many details, I don't understand it. But I'm gonna let the experts handle it. I don't even need a response.
Any other questions of the chief?
Chief, up to this point in the investigation, we don't know of any other parties that were involved or
As it stands right now, the primary person that we're looking at is Ronnie Neal.
Okay.
But as the investigation continues, we're not really sure at the moment.
Okay.
Chief, my only question is, the things that you've put in place now, are they requiring anything extraordinary in terms of staff time, overtime, or is it just more a change in the processes to make this not happen again?
Essentially, it's been a change in process. Again, we're looking for outside vendors. This way, it takes our hands completely off. The only thing we would end up doing going forward is selecting the officers to go and do the details. Everything else would be automated, and the invoices, payments, everything will go directly to finance.
Okay.
And while Chief, you've done a great job of setting forth, what is believed to be transpired, I just want to remind everyone on the dais that these are allegations. There's been no conclusion. Chief is setting forth what those allegations are, and the legal system is taking through its process, so there's been no final conclusion. And I also appreciate, while there are definitely additional questions, that we allow this process to go through without having those discussions.
I would also add to what has been said is that the finance department was not involved. This was solely being handled within the police department, not the finance department.
Thank you for that clarification. Chief, is it possible, sir, respectfully, just to remind your new police officers and even your veterans police officers who the commissioners are? I have a hard time, but I know outside of wearing a badge, it's probably difficult for me to come up to you and say, hi, I'm Commissioner Britton. But if it's possible, I've gone to the pinning ceremonies and stuff like that, but I don't know what we can do, sir, but I shouldn't have to wear a cloak every time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, it is 5:10 after 6. Also on the agenda is the city clerk evaluation that was sent to you. You can decide if you want to bring it up now or at another time.
Let me go through appointments real quick, because that won't take long, because there's not really much change, and then we can bring that up. And I don't think if it's going to take its discussion time, we can do that at 7 o'clock. So board appointments that I take care of, there's no real change, except the vice mayor will be Commissioner Wiggins. And I have asked him, and I've asked Leadership Seminole's permission to allow him to be the delegate to the Leadership Seminole Board, because those are meetings that I can very rarely attend. And since he is actually doing Seminole leadership this year, I thought that would be a good fit. Otherwise, Cowno is still Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner on Homelessness, Commissioner Thomas, Community Service Block Grant is staff with Ms. Osborne, League of Cities, Patrick Austin, Leadership Seminole, I already covered. Mayors and managers will be me and Mr. Bonaparte, mostly Mr. Bonaparte. Metro Plan, myself, with Commissioner Britton as backup, Public Art Commission, Patrick Austin, Sanford Airport Authority, myself with Commissioner Britton as backup. Sanford Airport Noise is still our citizen, Kenneth Starnes. Sanford Housing Authority, Commissioner Wiggins. Museum Board, Commissioner Britton. Seminole Chamber is Mr. Bonaparte. Tourism Development Council, myself. Tri-County League of Cities is Mr. Bonaparte, although does that fall under you also, Mr. Commissioner Austin, as part of League of Cities?
No.
Okay. And then the Ritz Theater, which is actually their appointment, is myself. Sanford Main Street, which is their appointment, is Commissioner Thomas. Central Florida Zoo, which is their appointment, is Tracy Huchin. Sanford Chamber of Commerce, myself, and Mr. Bonaparte. We do have one, the Eileen, Metro Plan Community Advisory Committee. We had, I can't remember her name, but she sent us a resignation. Mr. Bonaparte, do you remember? No. Do you remember getting the resignation? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, then I will get with y'all, but I'm thinking that I will ask Nick Belovich if he would like to serve on that, but I'll clarify with you and Mr. Bonaparte on that one. Any questions on appointments?
I don't know if it needs to be on that list, but I want to remind you all that I've taken a position on the Rescue Outreach Mission Board.
Oh, okay.
And I've been asked by Commissioner Lockhart to serve on the Sunrail Citizen Advisory Board. And I would.
You healthy enough for all this? Yes.
And I will gladly, since Commissioner Thomas has stepped forward to take
What did I do while I was out?
take a participation in the League of Cities, I would gladly turn over that to her.
Okay.
She seems to be more in tune with the things that are going on with them right now than I am, so.
I would go along with that.
Which
Do you want
one
to be
was
the League of Cities
Point of
designate,
contact,
point of contact? Okay.
Basically, the once a year conference,
that I'm
you
already
would
doing?
go to that, you would go to that Saturday session and vote.
Well, we always appoint that each time anyway, but
Yeah.
you would be the first choice. Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions or requests? Okay. Then on to the city clerk's evaluation. I'm okay with it. I mean, it looks
I'm
fine
fine
to
with
me.
I'm fine with it.
May I have any comments? Do we know what,
I just don't know.
can you get me by the next meeting, what the pay adjustment would be based on the rating? Okay, all right. Then we'll cover that at the end of
It's the
7
first
o'clock
time she
meeting.
showed up all year.
Okay? All right. Anything else? Commissioner Britton?
I can wait till tonight.
Commissioner Wiggins?
I'll wait for it.
Commissioner Austin? Commissioner
Ditto.
Thomas? Oh, well, then I'll do two things real quick.
No.
Hey, yes. Mr. Ramondo? Whatever happened about us getting commissioner pictures out on the wall? Because I know I was rushed to get my picture taken.
Meant
I
to.
was too.
And
Me too.
We all were.
why haven't those appeared?
Who you waiting on?
Who you waiting on,
Go ahead
sir?
and say it.
I sent you my pictures.
All the pictures the whole point was all the pictures are supposed to be the same.
They was professional pictures taken by the League of Cities. All right. It's so hard for me to get there to take the pictures. Jeez.
We can work at your schedule, Commissioner, if you need it. We'll work it out for you. Whatever you need, we'll make it happen.
I just got fired for coming to commission meetings. Now I'm talking about taking, oh my God. Okay.
I know, I like the one I had too, but we had to do another one.
I'm sure mine's really bad, so. 'Cause,
And we haven't even seen them yet.
Ms. Osborne, I asked you this, and I need you to remind me, who is the one member of
I'll give
CDB,
you hair.
the block grant board that has confirmed that they do not want to continue? Do anybody know right offhand whose appointee that is? It's yours? Okay. Then we would look to you to suggest somebody. I know, Commissioner Thomas, you had somebody that you were hoping to put on there,
Put on where?
on CDBG, if you want to share that with Commissioner
Yes,
Britton.
in fact, she submitted an application to the Main Street Board as well. So,
So we want to share that name with her, and then Commissioner Britton can
Carol
make a decision.
Cowan, Cowan. She's a chair for Recovery Connections currently.
Okay, and there's nothing else, we are adjourned.
You got, let these things on there. I got a lot of questions and I want to be like respectful, so I don't want to, you know, anything about your district.
No, let me tell you this.